So just going to check things on my end. I don't want to embarrass you.
Try to be like you.
Hey, we're both on our way then. We're both on our way. Those of y'all who, decide to come in, that's always great news. See some good things happening. Getting some notifications. As you all pull in, feel free to give me a thumbs up. Let me know that you can hear us. That's always great. Let me know you can hear us on the other side. Boom, gonna do that. Damn, this is looking good. I think we're set. Hey, Leonard, how you feeling today? This is just, how you doing? How you feeling?
Hey, Atlantis, I'm feeling good. You can see I'm wearing my face scarf. That's part of my Last Prince of Atlantis Chronicles brand. I'm doing a giveaway for this when people join the mailing list, leonardclifton.com. So I'm doing giveaways with scarf, the face mask I wore at the protest. That's been a really inspiring, liberating, chapters. What's going on right now in America, in Los Angeles. Sure. So I've been involved in it, and literally on the first day of the protest that happened in my neighborhood, West Hollywood, Beverly Hills area, it was all races, all colors, age, genders, you name it.
Right.
But for the most part, it was peaceful until kids started looting and tagging. And I saw a lot of white kids like, what are you doing? You're going to make me look bad.
Whoa.
Stop it.
Now, I'm gonna stop you right there, so I can give an official introduction because I already know that this is going to be an amazing interview. So I appreciate you sharing that much, ladies and gentlemen. As you all tune in, feel free to share this because this is going to be another great one. I bring to you all not just an actor, not just an activist, but also an author, a superhero, if you will, the Last Prince of Atlantis. All hail Atlantis, as you see. Book number 1 is already out that I'm sure you all are going to check out. And book number 2 is also on the way now officially. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my friend and soon to be yours, Leonard Clifton. Round of applause. Clap it up. Yeah. The crowd goes virtually wild or wherever they are, right?
Stan, I appreciate you, bro. I've known you for several years. You're a good guy. I mean, you have this great charisma, just aura about you. Like if anyone next to you is infectious, you have to be happy. And I love that about you.
Man, thank you so very much. I appreciate you, and great that we've connected and stayed close the whole time. And it's always great to see you continue to rise and create. And, folks often say, create what you want to see, but you're actually doing that. So it's a pleasure to have you here with me and with us right now. So I'm going to dive right into this, and I know where we're going to touch on as well as we close out. But tell me, the Last Prince of Atlantis, all hail Atlantis. Talk to me about that. Why the Last Prince of Atlantis? What does it mean to you?
The Last Prince of Atlantis, it means so many different things to me. I believe it's literally in my DNA. I was named after Leonard Nimoy, Mr. Spock, Star Trek. And I remember years ago, he had a show called In Search Of, the reruns. And one particular episode was talked about the lost city of Atlantis. And I remember watching it, and at the end, I heard like a voice over him. There was black kids in the Caribbean playing, and I heard, are these the descendants of Atlantis? Because, the rise and fall with Plato and all those things it talked about, but it always stuck with me. So throughout the years of, my life, acting and all those things, I met a beautiful muse that really inspired me, and I just started writing a story, and literally like a floodgate stand of like all the characters, the origin. Literally, I was like downloading all this information, just writing for 6 months straight, 12 to 18 hours a day.
Really?
12 to 18 hours a day. I couldn't even sleep, and when I went to the gym just to try to get my mind off it, things were still coming to me. I was like, I gotta get back home. I got to continue to write. And once I finished it, I submitted it to a publishing house in New York. I won't name the name, but the editor, she loved it. And at that time, she was saying that the other editors, board members, they wasn't really sure of, being Black, multicultural characters in a young adult because they weren't used to seeing that. So when they let her go, I decided just to self-publish it. And when I did that, I found out about Goodreads. Goodreads is a big platform for readers for all different genres, ages around the world. So I gave it to a couple of kids from around the world, like, hey, will you read this book? Give me your feedback. If you like it, post reviews. And they all wrote great reviews like, man, you have a gold mine here. This could be like a next Harry Potter. But the soccer moms who were reading it, I was trying to reach out to Black kids and Latino kids. Yeah. Because that's what the majority of, some of the characters, but they wouldn't read in the book. It was all white kids. And soccer moms, literally, they're just like, if you take out some of the slang, you're going to have a hit on your hands. Because I was trying to reach out to the kids with the hip hop culture.
Our language or the language.
Exactly. So when I did that, I made the changes. But what really changed my life with the book series, I had a book signing at the Grove, Barnes & Noble at the Grove, which is a huge platform.
To see you with none other than Damon John as well, who was endorsing the book. I don't know if I'm sorry if that was a spoiler, Eddie, but I saw that also, but go ahead.
Yeah. Damon is a cool cat. He's actually a Pisces like me too. I met him before he had his book signing at the Grove. I met him at another event he had. I was telling him about the book. He was like, wow. So we took pictures of me holding his book. He's holding mine. So throughout the years, when he would be in LA doing his pitches for the Shark Tank stuff, I would go meet with him, and he did a Facebook Live interview, allowing me to talk about the book. He has several other people who saw him talking about. He's going to be at one of the Carl's Juniors. So when I spoke about it, and actually I had to learn about like have your elevator pitch together. Those little things I didn't know. And when he gave me the platform to speak, he gave me so much time to speak. But I was still going on and on. It's like, so he beat me up a little bit, but he's a great guy, man. Love that brother.
Amazing. So you decided to push forward on your own. And as a character, the Last Prince, if someone said, so like, if you could tell me in a couple sentences who the Last Prince is, like, who is it?
Yeah. The Last Prince is actually the story about this 15-year-old Black American named Alan King, who grew up in a middle-class family in Miami, Florida. And he's constantly bullied by one of the popular jocks in high school. And he has two misfit friends. They're kind of bad boys, one Latino, one white guy. But Alan's dad was a longshoreman, and he was hired by these two billionaire guys from Australia. And they've been searching for these ancient relics that they believe was in this sunken ship that was Blackbeard owned this vessel. So it has like that kind of historical fiction in it.
Of course.
And Francisco has one of the crates, and it's old. It falls apart with all these gold medallions and coins. It has this blue crystal necklace. Francisco steals it. So after the day is done, the guy's hanging out on Ocean Drive, checking out the girls, talking about the day, the events, how it occurred, and how these creepy billionaire guys look wearing white suits, dark shades, flaming red hair, and their bodyguards like really big and wide, and they kind of walk side to side, like kind of like crocodiles. So when Francisco pulls out the necklace, I know I'm going on that tangent.
No, please.
Alan's eyes changed from brown to blue-green, and they trip out. Like, your eye is a different color. And Alan's like, no, you guys are tripping. But then when he saw his eyes that color, they start researching immediately on their phones about crystals and make a person's eyes change. So they come across this girl named Athena Adrena. She's a socialite, but she knows all about Atlantis, and she's related to Plato. So
I'm going to stop you, man. I don't want you to give. There are people who are like this right now watching this, but they need to get the book because you tell a great story, man.
Yeah, that's the part that I'm so passionate. When you say two sentences, I work on that. I have the elevator pitch down. I just love it.
Right, but that's amazing, man. I think so. You may hear baby Stan just then. Sorry, but I
hear a little Stan.
Yeah, but I think that's baby Stan. All right. Anyway, I'm sorry, but go ahead. Tell me more.
So he just goes on a global journey when he finds out his origin, and then he goes on a hero's journey, proving himself to his ancestors, and he actually now finds that he's worth more than what he thought he was. And I think that
Wow.
kind of talks about just us in general as Black men and boys, that if you don't know your real culture, your identity, but once you find it, you grab onto it and you want to know more, and you do whatever you can to make your ancestors proud.
Whoa. And that last piece right there was worth more than its weight in gold, is, understanding who you are, or having the ability to find that stuff, or it be presented to you. Because people often say you don't know, where you're going unless you know where you come from.
Right,
But
right.
it seems like, not just, let's say in this fictional world, but in the real world, that's exactly what it is. I'm sure you've seen people grow and develop when they found out who they were.
Oh, absolutely. I'm still growing and finding out about myself. For example, like I said, this book's really changed my life. And when I had the book signing at the Grove, the next step I did Comic-Con. My mentor passed away. His name Reginald Rutherford. He was a producer, co-produced Soul Train Awards with Don Canillas. He worked on Soul Train for years. He was friends with Marvin Gaye, but he was also Mario Lopez's boss. He was a producer on Extra, the TV show. So when he told me, you got to do Comic-Con, create, the cosplay, and I did all that, and I found that the models looked like, close to the characters in the book, even though the costume wasn't right. But when I did it in 2016, everyone was going crazy. And that's when I knew I had something tangible. When they were like, who are you guys? And that kicked off when I decided to do the first book. Was 3 books in one, Stan. It was pretty big.
Whoa, you were not messing around.
So this book, so now it's 3 separate books. Book 2 is coming out soon, so I have not received the author's copies yet. I'm thinking Juneteenth would be the day I'll announce it, because Juneteenth covers so many things for us as Black Americans. That celebration. I'm from Texas originally, so I know the whole history of Juneteenth. But this, 2 years later, the slaves were freed in Texas.
And it's amazing you mentioned that, because there are so many people who are literally just now finding out and learning about Juneteenth. It's like, for so many people, even our own, like July 4th has been this ultimate celebration. It's like, again, but until you know where you've been, you don't know where you're going or where you've come from, so to speak. So super powerful. Thank you for mentioning that as well. And that's when you'll make that announcement.
Brother, it's my pleasure. I'm just honored to have you interview me. I mean, you're just like Damon John. You are a phenomenal guy. And my whole reason why I created a book, I just want to inspire the world with positivity, showing young adult characters, people of color, biracial, multicultural, Black people in a positive way. Like, this book was created for your son. When he's 12, 15 years old, he can read it and he's like, hey, I'm Alan King.
Yeah, I see me. And so I see me doing something awesome or fun or inspiring and overcoming along the way, which I think, when people talk about, or you're creating what you want to see, it's those stories that should be told more and that are being told, and seeing and knowing someone like you that's telling those stories is even more powerful for me and those folks who are watching and tuning in, because all too often we see these depictions that aren't us. And it's interesting that I think that some people actually then live into these depictions who aren't even them, because there's nothing that's showing who they really are. So like, if that's what I see, then that's what I want to be. So thank you for creating, us in an image that says, no, this is who we really are. This is who we can be. I know as we're kind of, in our pre-production, as we're starting, the interview, you are in Los Angeles, in West Hollywood. There's been quite a bit going on there, and you've gotten involved. You've been out there. What has that been like, and what made you get involved?
Wow, boots on the ground, literally. I know this is gonna. This mask I wore at the protest is one of the main reasons. It all coincides with the book, but the reason why I went out there, when you think about in the past, in the 60s, I wasn't at the age of our forefathers, our family members who actually protested with Martin Luther King and all those things. And honestly, This is LA, bro.
I love it. Wait, baby Stan, horns. I'm with it. This is live TV, baby. I'm with it.
TV in LA, West Hollywood, Beverly Hills. But just to stand and march next to, I was so surprised to see all the youth that was out there, all different, like I said, age, genders, races. And to me, it's divine intervention. If it wasn't for the coronavirus, this pandemic, and people literally at home trying to stay safe, but we're seeing Black men being killed live. And when George Floyd, if I honestly believe that if he didn't cry out to his mother before he died, just sort of compassion, I honestly believe a lot of people probably wouldn't protest and react, because when mothers see that, they think about their sons, no matter what race or color they are, that this gentleman was literally sacrificed in front of all of us, lynched. And this has been going on for, hundreds of years. So that's one reason why I went out and protest. And in book 2, The Last Prince of Atlantis Chronicles, Battle for the Crown, even Alan, who has these supernatural powers, he's racially profiled. I'm giving some things away, not too much, because
don't give them too much. I'll cut the interview short if you give away too much.
Yeah. No, so they had to read book 2 to see that, where they read book 1. But even in the sci-fi world, even a young Black king has to still deal with being a Black young man in America.
Right. It's interesting that you lay that point out, because there are folks that have no money, or there are folks that have tons of money. And sometimes people may feel that status or finances will alleviate them of some of the pains. But then there's always these things that happen that remind you of the place or the world that you might live in. And that's what ends up becoming very painful. So you mentioned, again, he has superpowers. Heck, superpowers some would think would be millions, because there are people that are millionaires or they're famous, but then they find themselves in these compromising positions. Like, no, not me. It's like, no, actually, you
no. Well, I'm going to go back to the history of what Trump wanted to do a rally in Tulsa, Oklahoma. We know what Tulsa, Oklahoma was. That's with a Black Wall Street. There were millionaires.
Yeah.
They were millionaires, and they lost everything.
That's another point, too, is that a lot of folks are also just now hearing about, and I believe that rally was since canceled, but people are just now learning about Tulsa, Oklahoma, and the and Black Wall Street, because people are like, if Black people just pushed harder and worked hard, it's like, do you know Black people created their own economy and lived independent of everyone else, and then someone or a group, a mass of people descended upon them and burned their city to the ground to ash and killed men, women, and children. And there are folks that aren't, or just now learning that, being like, Black Wall Street, let me Google that. It's amazing, even from the standpoint of other folks who are just now learning or dealing with their anger and emotion, where it's like, heck, for our lives, we've been aware or needed to be aware. And now people for the first time are like, oh my gosh, I had no idea. It's like, catch up. Yeah. You may find yourself angry or emotional or confused, all those things, but deal with those emotions and then move forward, together and collectively. And thank you for sharing those thoughts. And I'm super glad that you've been able to, live and grow and develop and create the way you have. How can people learn more about you? Where can they find your book? Before we because I'm super interested in, and it was interesting. You said, this book was written for your son. I absolutely believe it was written for me as well. But for all the sons out there, mothers of sons, they're like, hey, empower your kid. And there's a new superhero in town or in the water that they should know about. How can they find you?
Yes, they can. Thank you. They can find me on leonardclifton.com, www.leonardclifton.com. And join a mailing list. As I was saying before, I'm doing giveaways. The mask I wore at the protest, the face guard, drawstring, book bag.
Oh, snap, man. You got the whole kit and caboodle.
The T-shirts, the wristbands, everything I believe in. Let's see, where's the camera at?
There we go. I love it.
I'm all about, I've been to Africa. I've been all these places around the world for the book, doing the research. When I hired someone to create the 3-book series, and it was a female. I'm glad I hired her, because she helped me see some things that
were outside of your perspective or your vision.
Exactly.
Amazing. And what's your Instagram as well? I want folks
Yeah,
to
yeah.
know your
Instagram
Instagram.
is Leonard Clifton Global Citizen, but on the leonardclifton.com, they go up to the top. They can click on any icon and join. And also, I'm doing right now when book 2 comes out. I'm planning on launching it Friday, June 16th. I'm donating part of the proceeds to Black Lives Matter and my good friend Alpha Onyema's Jinko Foundation.
Oh
And
man,
yeah,
amazing,
yeah,
amazing,
because
awesome.
Jinko is doing amazing work in Africa, as you know.
Absolutely. So donating those proceeds to Black Lives Matter as well as Genco, which is amazing at
CO.
GEANCO.org. So thank you very much for everything you do and for creating. Make sure you all check him out on Instagram as well, or obviously go to leonardclifton.com because you can actually see more about his journey, where he's been, the research he's done. He's been all over the place. So thank you for taking a moment here with me and in this audience to educate us a little bit on not just the Last Prince of Atlantis, but life.
Yeah, thank you. And you also, when they go on leonardclifton.com, you click on to media interview page. It has all my interviews with Dave and John, to Ryan Seacrest, to the travels I've been around the world. Their videos, so you see it all right there, and you can
Awesome.
order the book.
Awesome, man. Thank you so very much for being here
Thank
with us.
you.
Hopefully you'll come back again. We'll have more of a discussion as well. For those of you all watching, continue to uplift yourself and those around you. Create what you want to see and then lean directly into that. Remember 24/7, 365 and 1/4 days a year that you are good, you are great, and you are absolutely worth it. And if anything else, remember this, that effort on fire beats knowledge on ice. So go get it. Have a great one, y'all. Peace.
Hail Atlantis.